The call came on a Thursday morning while I was reviewing the latest quarterly reports for my retail and real estate empire. Christopher Martinez from Elite Celebrations sounded deeply uncomfortable as he delivered the message that would permanently alter my family's understanding of who I really was. "Miss Thompson, I'm calling about your brother Ryan's housewarming celebration this Saturday. Your parents have requested that we remove you from the guest list, but they still expect your $35,000 contribution to remain in place for the event." I paused, setting down the financial statements showing record profits from my furniture retail chain. Through my office windows, I could see the sprawling residential development where Ryan had just purchased his dream home. A development I'd built and still owned every square foot of. Remove me from the guest list? What explanation did they provide? Christopher's voice became strained. They mentioned wanting to maintain a certain atmosphere for the celebration. Your mother specifically said that Ryan's new neighbors and some important business contacts would be attending, and they felt your presence might not project the right image for his new life in the upscale community. The irony was devastating. For the past 7 years, my family had treated me like the black sheep, the daughter who'd wasted her education on retail work instead of pursuing a prestigious career. They had no idea that my retail work had evolved into Aurora Holdings, a $2.9 billion empire spanning luxury furniture stores, residential developments and hospitality services. I see. And they expect me to fund a party celebrating a house purchase in a community I'm apparently not sophisticated enough to visit. It appears so, yes. Your brother Ryan mentioned that this housewarming is crucial for establishing relationships with his new neighbors and making the right impression in Willowbrook Estates. Willowbrook Estates. The luxury residential community I designed and developed over the past 3 years, where Ryan had just purchased a home using financing I'd secretly arranged through my lending subsidiary. "Christopher, I need you to cancel the entire event." "I'm sorry, what?" "But ma'am, it's your brother's housewarming celebration. I can't just." "Yes, you can. Because the celebration is being held at a home in Willowbrook Estates, which I developed and still own. The furniture throughout his house came from Aurora Home Collections, my store. The catering is being provided by Pinnacle Events, also mine. And the community clubhouse where the party is scheduled? That's mine too." The silence on the other end stretched for nearly 25 seconds. "Miss Thompson, I don't understand. The contracts all show different company names. All subsidiaries of Aurora Holdings. I'll have my legal team send over the ownership documentation within the hour. Consider this official notice that all services are being withdrawn and the event space is no longer available." After hanging up, I sat in my executive chair, looking out at the business empire I'd built while my family dismissed me as a retail failure. It had started with a small furniture boutique I'd opened after college, much to my parents' disappointment. They'd wanted me to use my business degree for a corporate career, not to sell furniture like a glorified salesperson. What they never understood was that I hadn't failed at their version of success. I'd simply discovered that creating beautiful spaces where families built their lives was more meaningful than climbing someone else's corporate ladder. Every dollar I'd made from that first store had been reinvested. More locations than manufacturing than real estate development until I controlled everything from the furniture people bought to the communities where they lived. But to them I was still just Sophia, the disappointment who'd chosen retail over respectability. My phone buzzed. Ryan's name appeared on the screen. "Sophia, what the hell did you do?" The party planner just called me in tears saying the housewarming is cancelled. "Good afternoon to you too, Ryan. He claims you own the catering company and somehow the clubhouse. That's impossible." "It's completely possible. I own all of them." "You work at a furniture store." "I own 17 furniture stores across 4 states, plus the manufacturing facilities that produce the custom pieces, plus the residential developments where your customers live, including the one where you just bought your house." The silence told me he was processing this information. "You're lying. I'm sending you some documents. After you review them, we can continue this conversation." I hung up and instructed my assistant to prepare a comprehensive portfolio of my holdings, focusing on Willowbrook Estates and the furniture pieces Ryan had purchased for his new home. 20 minutes later, my phone started ringing. First Ryan again, then my mother, then my father. I let them all go to voicemail while I reviewed the guest list Christopher had sent me earlier. A list that included 3 families who'd purchased homes in my other developments and 2 business owners who regularly bought furniture from my commercial division. Ryan's message was panicked. "Sophia, I've seen the documents. I don't understand how this is possible, but we need to talk. This is my housewarming. We can't cancel it now." My mother's message was classic manipulation. "Sophia, darling, Ryan showed me some very confusing paperwork. We had no idea you'd expanded your little furniture business so significantly. But family is family, and we need to support Ryan's fresh start in his new community." My father's message was more direct. "Sophia, this is your father. I've reviewed the documentation Ryan provided. We clearly need to have a family meeting. There are obviously things we need to understand about your business activities." I waited until evening to return their calls, starting with my parents. They were at Ryan's new house, no doubt strategizing how to handle their suddenly successful daughter. "Sophia." My mother's voice was forced brightness. "We've been trying to reach you all day." "I know, Mom. I've been working." "Honey, Ryan showed us the most impressive business portfolio. We had no idea you'd grown your furniture shop into something so substantial." There it was. Even in her attempt at acknowledgement, she couldn't help but refer to my empire as a furniture shop that had grown up. "Is that what you wanted to discuss?" My father took the phone. "Sophia, we owe you an apology. We didn't realize the scope of what you've built. But surely we can resolve this situation with Ryan's housewarming party." "There's nothing to resolve, Dad. You and Mom decided I wasn't suitable company for Ryan's celebration, but you still wanted my money to pay for it. That's not... Look, maybe we made an error in judgment. But this is about Ryan establishing himself in his new community, not about us. We want you there. Do you? Or do you want me there now that you know I'm the developer who built his community?" "Sophia, that's not fair. Isn't it? 3 months ago you asked me when I was going to stop playing store and get a real job with career advancement potential. You suggested I consider applying for management positions at department stores. The irony wasn't lost on any of us. My stores competed directly with those department stores and were winning. People change, sweetheart. We can do better." "I hope so. But change requires acknowledging what went wrong. You both spent years being embarrassed by my career choice while I was building something that provides homes and furnishings for thousands of families. We were never embarrassed. Dad, you introduced me to people as your daughter, who works in furniture sales, while introducing Ryan as our successful financial advisor." The difference in tone was unmistakable. My mother took the phone back. "Sophia, we love you. We've always been proud of your entrepreneurial spirit." "My entrepreneurial spirit? Not my business success, not my ability to build something meaningful, but my spirit. Like I was a child with ambitious daydreams." "That's not what I meant." "It's exactly what you meant. And it's fine, Mom. I understand now where I stand in this family." "So what happens now?" my father asked quietly. "Now Ryan finds a new venue for his party, new catering, and new furniture if he wants to return what he bought from my stores." "Sophia, please. Think about your brother's future in this community." "I am thinking about it. I'm thinking about how he'll explain to his new neighbors why his sister isn't welcome at his housewarming party in the community she built." After hanging up, I made a decision that would reshape our family dynamics permanently. I called my head of community relations and had her compile a detailed report of every financial interaction I'd had with my family over the past 5 years. The results were revealing. I'd been quietly supporting their lifestyle without them realizing it. Ryan's mortgage had been approved through a lending partner I had significant influence with at rates well below market. My parents' home renovation had used contractors from my preferred vendor list at substantial discounts. Their furniture purchases over the years had all received customer loyalty discounts that actually came from my personal account. I'd been the invisible hand making their comfortable lifestyle more affordable while they looked down on me for choosing retail over a prestigious career. But I also did something else. I called the community center at my newest development and arranged for a surprise housewarming celebration for Ryan. Not the networking event they'd planned, but a genuine welcome party with the neighbors who'd actually be living near him for years to come. If my parents wanted to exclude me from their status-seeking event, fine. But I was still going to welcome my brother to the community properly. Saturday morning arrived with beautiful weather. I was in my home office when my security system alerted me to visitors at the gate. Through the camera, I saw my mother's Mercedes with my entire family inside. I'd never invited them to my house. They'd never known where I lived. The estate was a custom home I'd built on the premium lot in my first residential development, with views of the mountains and private lake access. "How did you find me?" I asked through the intercom. "We asked the security guard at Willowbrook Estates," Ryan said, sounding stressed. "Sophia, we need to talk." I buzzed them through, curious about what they'd learned from their visit to the development. They drove slowly up the private driveway, past the professionally landscaped gardens and three-car garage, until they reached the main house. Through my office window, I watched them sit in the car for several minutes, taking in the scope of the property. When they finally approached the front door, my mother was speechless. "Sophia, this house is extraordinary." "Thank you. Would you like to come in?" They followed me through the grand foyer with its custom chandelier and floating staircase, past the great room with its floor-to-ceiling stone fireplace, to the kitchen that opened onto the outdoor living space with its infinity pool and mountain views. "The architecture is stunning," Ryan whispered, finally finding his voice. "I worked with the design team to create something that maximized the lot's potential. All the furniture is from my collections, of course. My father was examining the custom millwork and built-in entertainment center. Sophia, this must have cost. I own it outright. No mortgage. The lot was the premium location in the development and I kept it for myself." Ryan sank into one of the kitchen island stools. "Why didn't you ever tell us you were this successful?" "Because I wanted you to be proud of me for building something meaningful, not impressed by my bank account. I wanted you to invite me to your housewarming because I'm your sister, not because I can afford to pay for it." "But we are proud of you," he protested. "Really? When was the last time any of you asked about my business without suggesting I should consider a more traditional career path?" None of them could answer. My mother leaned against the counter. "Sophia, we made mistakes. We didn't understand what you were building because we were too focused on conventional definitions of success. You made assumptions about my work because it involved retail, and you thought retail was beneath the family's standards." "That's fair," my father admitted. "We were wrong to judge your choices without understanding them." "Dad, what do you think I do all day?" Honestly, I assumed you managed a furniture store. I design communities where families will live for decades. I create furniture that becomes part of their most important moments. I employ 300 people across 4 states. I help young families buy their first homes through financing programs I've developed." Ryan looked around the kitchen, really seeing it for the first time. "All this furniture. You designed it?" "Every piece. The dining table where your family will eat holiday meals, the sofa where you'll watch movies, the bed where you'll sleep. I designed all of it specifically for your home's layout and your lifestyle." "I had no idea." "Biz, you never asked. You assumed that because I work with furniture, the work wasn't sophisticated or meaningful." My phone chimed with a text from my community relations manager. "Neighborhood welcome party ready at community center. 15 families confirmed attendance." "Actually," I said, "there's something you should know. I've organized a different kind of housewarming for you." "What do you mean?" Ryan asked. "Your actual neighbors, the families who live around you who'll be part of your daily life in this community, are gathering at the clubhouse in an hour for a genuine welcome party. I've arranged for a casual barbecue where you can meet the people who'll become your real friends over the years." "You did this." Ryan's voice was thick with emotion. "You deserve to be welcomed into the community properly. But by the people who'll actually be your neighbors, not by those you're trying to impress for business purposes." My mother started crying. "Sophia, we're so sorry. We turned your celebration into a networking event instead of honoring your new home." "Ryan's celebration," I corrected. "And yes, you did." "Can you forgive us?" my father asked. I looked at my family, really looked at them. They were flawed, they'd hurt me, but they were still my family. "I can forgive you. But things have to change. I won't be treated like the embarrassing family member who's only valuable for her checkbook." "They will change," my mother promised. "We want to understand what you've built and why it matters to you. And we want to support your vision," Ryan added. "I had no idea you'd created this entire community. It's incredible, Sophia." That afternoon, I watched Ryan meet his neighbors at the community center I'd designed. 15 families had come to welcome him. Young couples with children, retirees who'd become the neighborhood's unofficial grandparents, professionals who'd chosen Willowbrook for its sense of community rather than its prestige. My father gave a toast that surprised me. To my son Ryan, who's found not just a beautiful house but a real community. And to my daughter Sophia, who taught us today that the most impressive success is creating something that helps other people build their lives. Later, as the sun set over the lake, Ryan found me by the community fire pit. Sophia, I need to apologize. For what? For never asking what you actually do. For assuming that because you work with furniture and homes, it wasn't as important as my financial advising work. And now I understand that you create the foundation for everything I help people plan for. You build the communities where they'll live, design the spaces where they'll raise their families. That's more meaningful than managing investment portfolios. Both are important, Ryan, but they're different kinds of important. I want to learn from you. About building something that lasts, about creating value that goes beyond financial returns. What are you thinking? Maybe I could help families in your developments with financial planning. Not just investments, but helping them understand how to build long-term wealth through homeownership and community investment. That's actually a brilliant idea. My residents often ask about financial planning, especially the younger families. Really? We could develop a program that helps families make the most of their investment in community living. 6 months later, I was walking through my newest development with Ryan, who'd relocated his financial planning practice to serve families in my communities. He discovered that helping young families achieve homeownership was more fulfilling than managing portfolios for wealthy retirees. The Johnsons closed on their house yesterday, he reported, consulting his tablet. That's the third first-time buyer this month who said our financial literacy workshops made homeownership possible for them. Excellent. What about the community center programming? Booked solid. The cooking classes in your demonstration kitchen are especially popular, and the kids' entrepreneurship program has a waiting list. You seem happy, Ryan. I am. I never realized how much more meaningful work could be when it's connected to something bigger than individual transactions. That evening, I had dinner with my parents at their house, something that had become a weekly tradition since the housewarming incident. My mother was showing me photos from the latest community garden project while my father grilled vegetables grown by residents in the shared greenhouse. Ryan seems to love his new work, my mother said. He's found his purpose. It just took him a while to realize that helping families build community wealth was more fulfilling than managing investment accounts for people who already had plenty. Like you found your purpose in creating homes and communities, my father added. It wasn't always easy being the family disappointment. You were never a disappointment, Sophia. We were just too narrow-minded to understand that success could look different from what we expected. And too proud to admit when we were wrong, my mother added. Ryan arrived with his wife and their toddler for dessert, another new tradition. Their daughter ran straight to me, excited to show me her latest art project created in the community center's kids' studio. Aunt Sophia, look what I made for your office. It's beautiful, sweetheart. What is it? It's our house and all our neighbors' houses and everyone is happy. That's perfect. I'll hang it right next to my desk. As I watched my family gathered around the dinner table, sharing stories about their days and planning community events together, I realized that canceling the housewarming party had been the best decision I could have made. Not because it punished them but because it forced all of us to confront what really mattered. Now, instead of being the family embarrassment who secretly funded everyone's lifestyle, I was simply Sophia, successful entrepreneur, devoted sister and daughter, and the person who'd helped Ryan find work that fulfilled him. And that, I thought as my niece showed me her drawings of the playground she wanted me to build in the next development, was worth every uncomfortable conversation it had taken to get here. The following month, as I stood in my office watching Ryan help a young couple sign the papers for their first home in my newest community, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Not because I'd proven my worth to my family, but because we'd finally learned to value each other's contributions and support each other's dreams without conditions. That, more than any business success, was the Real Foundation.